How's it, folks? I have some great news for you today. Update 1.4 for Dying Like the Beast is a pretty chonky update. It comes with New Game Plus, Legend levels, Ray Tracing, couple new finishers, double XP weekend, and then a whole bunch of general patch notes, fixes, and whatnot that I'll go through later in the video. But we've been waiting for this, so it's nice that it's finally here. I'll go into more in depth about the New Game Plus and Legend levels a little bit later once I've had some time with a different system. I can also post another video later on where comparing Ray Tracing before and after with the performance and the different visual looks to see if it is worth plonking on for your own system. But just generally speaking, the New Game Plus is possible to go through multiple New Game Pluses on the same save. Each one will make the game harder, but each one will also be able to increase your health to keep up with the challenges. And once you've reached level 15, which was the previous max level, every bit of earned XP will be converted into Legend XP. That Legend XP will give you Legend levels, and the Legend levels get put into its own Legend level perk tree, very similar to the previous Download games if you played those. Just like the previous games, high difficulty settings and high New Game Plus tiers will increase the amount of XP you'll gain from all the different sources. On top of the Legend level improvements, you can also get a bunch of new rewards that get unlocked with the Legend levels, including 22 new weapons, both melee and firearms, including vintage guns, as well as 2 complete outfits, which is 12 gear pieces, so a piece in each slot to make 2 new outfits. On top of that, there's also what they call in legendary vehicle skins. The ray tracing, you can either go into quality presets so that to alpha, or go into advanced video settings and manually change it there. But of course you will need a card that can work with ray tracing, and they recommend at least 8 gigs of VRAM, or if you're playing in 4K, you'll need at least 16 gigabytes of VRAM. And they specifically mention that the ray tracing will improve reflections, lightings, and shadows while trying to deliver more realistic visuals. On top of that, they've also added 3 new finishes, one for the one-handed blunt weapons, one for the two-handed blunt weapons, and one for the two-handed slashing weapons. And this week's Call of the Beast challenge involves executing finishers. So you want a weapon that can do stamina damage to knock those out of the way quite quickly. The 2 weeks ago's weapon reward, the Rusty, comes with, I believe, was 20% bonus stamina damage, so that was quite easy to get the finishers unlocked. You just need to knock out 1 million of those to get the Guts Buster car skin, and 2.5 million to get the Rascal. And then moving on to the general fixes and improvements, starting with environmental and navigational fixes. They have resolved over 200 parkour and environment navigation issues, including climbing and ledge grab problems, as well as blocked traversal routes. They've adjusted multiple environmental elements such as monkey bars, beams, and scaffolding to improve overall parkour flow. And then with regards to the zip lines, they fixed mismatched UI action prompts for a more consistent gameplay experience and addressed double jump behavior that could cause unfair falls. With regards to vault poles, they've added an interaction prompt to clearly indicate they can be used, similar to zip lines or ladders, and fixed odd double jump behavior that could lead to unintended falling. And then finally, they fixed a block in the High Noon quest that prevented players from progressing due to a specific rock formation asset. And then moving on to gameplay, they've reduced the XP loss in survival mode through a global rebalance, with additional tuning focused on early level XP loss and night modifiers. They streamlined early game experience. They've reworked stamina curves to give players more stamina at the start of the game. Total stamina remains unchanged, and improving early game encounters. They've added a rare weapon near the first campsite during the Hub 1 quest to better reward exploration, and they've introduced minor UI updates in the skill menu to make basic movesets more visible. With regards to enemy reinforcements, they've adjusted reinforcement amounts when players chain noise generating actions, especially when using firearms or explosions. And then on the vehicle challenges, they've improved obstacle destruction logic to prevent players from being blocked by objects that should be destroyed by the vehicle. That was quite annoying when I was knocking out those vehicle challenges, so it's nice to see that fixed. And then a couple of co-op fixes. They've resolved an issue where the host could get stuck on a black screen if another player cancelled and immediately restarted the co-op challenge. they fixed several cases of convoy activity spawning in front of players, and they fixed instances where AI did not exit the surrender animation. And then finally they fixed an issue where the Banshee could float in the air when the Barter shields standing on were killed. And then with regards to performance and stability, they've improved overall game stability by addressing frame rate drops, crashes, and assets across multiple systems with over 35 issues resolved. And then with regards to graphical improvements, they've addressed over 70 visual issues, including incorrect textures, floating assets, clipping models, and misaligned architecture, improved lighting and shadow rendering across multiple environments, including fixes for improperly lit interiors and exteriors, as well as various graphical artifacts. With regards to the UI and audio, they fixed a pop-up screen appearing on game launch when Epic and Steam accounts were connected. That was very annoying. They've resolved discrepancies between voiceovers and subtitles across multiple languages, with over 12 localization issues fixed. They've improved quest marker functionality by addressing multiple incorrect or missing markers. They've corrected instances of debug strings appearing during gameplay and fixed several UI display errors across menu sections. They've resolved over 20 audio issues involving missing or incorrect sound effects, including weapon collision sound effects and ambient audio during various missions. And then finally, they fixed several co-op audio problems, such as missing VO lines and dialogue synchronization issues. And that is pretty much it for this pretty substantial patch 1.4 for Dying Light Beast. Once again, I'll go into more detail about the New Game Plus and Legend levels in a separate video later on once I've had more time to test the stuff out. I just wanted to make this quick little video to let you guys know that New Game Plus, Legend levels, Raytracing, Update 1.4, double XP event, all that great stuff is finally here. So it's worth popping in to see these new changes in Dying Light the Beast. Otherwise, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care and cheers for now.